Can you hear me? All right. Hey, y'all can hear me? What's up, y'all? So what y'all been up to today? Hey, Lindsay. Cool. You're gnawing on a butterfinger? That sounds good. I'm about to make some tea in a minute. Gnawing in a butterfinger. Man. My favorite is Heath bars. I love those things. I haven't had one of those in a long time. Man. I had an argument. Well, not really an argument, but a disagreement with someone. I hate it when people tell me what I do and don't see. That really pisses me off. I don't know. Lynn's is cleaning out her garage, but stalling and unwinding. Tyler was teething molars today. Ugh. Good Lord. You love Reese's bars? I don't know. I can't eat stuff like that. It makes me sick. I mean, I like it. It just makes my joints hurt. Maybe if I smoked a joint, it wouldn't hurt. I don't know. I haven't done that in a long time, too. Not Lynn's. They're gaslighting you. You know what you know. Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, I was in Patrick's stream and somebody was telling me that my skull had changed, and I was like, I just went to the doctor 3 weeks ago and like beautiful body scan. I like know what my bones and stuff look like. And she was like, but I can see your skull's changed. And I'm like, well, I mean, were you sitting next to me at the doctor? Because yeah, I mean, it's just that's my thing, I think maybe because I mean, I see those scans every 2 years. You know how, like, people who live in a certain area, they're like, "It hasn't changed." Maybe it's because they live in that area and they look at it all the time. You know how, like, if you're, with somebody long term and then you see a picture of them from, like, 5 years before, you're like, "Shit, you've lost all your hair," but, like, in the meantime, you didn't notice. So, maybe it's that situation, but Hey, Dark Wolf. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's been so slow, I just don't see it. You know what I should do is go and, get, copies of all that and look at them. Great to see you. Or to not see me. I'm glad she said that because now I think I'm gonna go to my doctor and get, like, copies of them. It's just that, MRIs, they show, like, the full body scans, I mean, they show everything. So you can see kind of like, where all my fat placement is, and I don't know, they're kind of embarrassing looking, actually. I don't know. Do I wanna put pictures of my body online? I might, though. I mean, I think that'd be interesting if, because River Swept says that she has scans of herself. Maybe she should go to her doctor and post it. Like, maybe we should do that. Like those of us that have had it done, you know. Lynn's is like, I don't appreciate anyone that doesn't offer validation first. My husband was doing that with our mountains moving, drove me nuts till he realized that what he was saying indirectly, he has changed. Yeah. Dark Wolf says his cam messed up last night. Oh, that's shitty. Well, for maybe not for science, for research. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, if I go get copies of it, I'd be interested to go get copies of it and then compare it to maybe other people's body scans. You know what I mean? Because you can get pictures of, they post pictures of people's body scans online. That might be interesting for what it's worth. And see, I was thinking about that too. I remember I saw the Kennedy change like over a year ago. But my friend Frankie, when they brought out all that stuff, not that long ago, they had the anniversary of it. He saw 4 people in the car like maybe a month ago. I mean, he's like, I just watched it. It's 4 people. And he's like, Texas governor sitting in the front seat with a white hat on. See, like in this reality, he doesn't have the white hat on anymore. And nobody ever says that. I remember him having a white cowboy hat on and sitting in the front seat right next to you know, the secret agent or whatever he is, you know, the presidential detail. But he was sitting there watching it. Maybe if I study the body changes, I'll see the changes. That's my point. So, just for me, I don't see anything different. But of course, I don't look into it either. That's one of those things that I don't know enough about human anatomy, but I just know that I see my body over and over again, you know? And to me, it doesn't look any different. So, so it might be a situation like that. And I told my friend Frankie, I was like, you know what? There's 6 people in the car now. I was like, go look up the video. And when he looked it up, he was like, what is this? And I was like, I'm sorry, Frankie, but you'll never see 4 again. Might be something like that. That's interesting. Maybe I don't see it because I just haven't really looked at it. You know what I mean? It's possible. But I think that opens up something. I mean, it opens up like a question of why it's like that. Because that's the most bizarre part to me. Linda's like, that's what I would say for your own research as well. If you work on it all, you have a better idea of remembering what it looks like now. Yeah. Hey, Char. Yeah, I have to get up at I have to get up at 6 a.m., but I don't let that stop me. Yeah, and see, that's the thing with the hand. I mean, I noticed somebody was asking me, "Do you see the changes in your hand?" Well, I don't. Like, I'm sitting here looking at my hand right now, and I mean, to me, it doesn't look lower. Let's see. Let's see if y'all can see this. Oh, shit. All right, let's see. I know I've got that part. What about the camera? All right, let's see if it shows up. Trying to see if it's going to show up on the chat. It might be delayed. Can y'all see me or no? Because I can't see myself on YouTube. HR. Just see my icon? Yeah, I see it too. Yeah, I'm doing it like this because I don't want people seeing my image morph like that. I don't like that. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't feel like I can speak, you know? It's just weird to me. Freaks me out. Oh, listen, I know what I can do. Let's see. Turn that one off. Let's see. Maybe I can turn this camera on. Ah, let's see, guys. I'm gonna pop this to one side and pop this one to the other so I can see the chat. Oh, I love split screen on the computer. All right. Now, does my hand look different? I mean, for real. Does it look different to you? I mean, being for real right now. Does it look different? Does it look different? Notice it has a lot of wrinkles. Thanks a lot, Scott Balo. Does it look different to you? I mean, but really, a lot of people are saying that their thumbs are starting down here near their wrist bone. I mean, does it look like a changed hand? Does it look like a old hand or a new hand? That's not me. Are you seeing old me? Or are you seeing new me? Are you seeing the me I see? I still have makeup on from work. No, I'm just being for real. Like, does it look different? Does it look like I mean, because a lot of people, they can sit there and bend their thumbs like, they're saying, oh, the joint's like lower and I can bend my thumb all the way. I mean, but I can't bend mine. That's as far as I can spread. Where does it bend? It bends here, right here. So, Poppy, do you think it looks different? I mean, answer me for real. Base of my pinky across the palm. I'm just saying. I mean, is it different? Is it the same? I mean, because a lot of people, I mean, I see their hands and they're like elongated right here, is all I'm saying. So Poppy's saying hers is lower. See, and I see people making videos about it. I know theirs is lower. What I submit to you is mine is not. Is it all in my head? If I believe it is in my head, is it going to change on my body? That's my question. No, no, it's not. You can't sit there and have it both ways. That's the thing. If the anatomy is changed, then it's changed. All I'm saying is, all I'm submitting to you is, does it change because you realize it changes, or is it just different? So, I mean, a lot of people don't have like this here. This isn't nearly connected to their wrist. Am I wrong? Can I tuck my thumb under? What do you mean? Like this? Like that? See? I still have, I mean, it's like, but I see people making videos and their hands are longer here. And it's like this is down here. Am I wrong? I mean, yeah, I can tuck my thumb in. I mean, you tell me if it's different. I mean, is it the changed hand or is it an original hand? I mean, since you know what I mean, you're saying the hand is changed, so tell me which one is it? That's my question. Which one is it? No knuckle shows. So like this knuckle doesn't show because I'm just trying to understand what this is. I mean, it looks like my knuckle shows. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't sit there and tell me my body's changed. And I believe maybe it hasn't because I haven't looked into it. And I'm wondering, and I'm not angry. I'm just saying, I'm wondering, is this how it works? Now, all I'm saying is, what if I looked into the changes? Do you think my body would change? I'm not saying they do or don't change. My whole thumb disappears under. It doesn't though. There's the knuckle. There's the bone. I mean, that's the way grasping hands work. You know. I mean, I still have but I've seen. All I'm saying is, I've seen videos and people don't have this here. It's not this high. It's like here. I mean, am I wrong about that? I mean, and I've seen my skull recently. I mean, all I'm saying is, how many people out there have seen a scan of their skull recently? I have a tumor in my pituitary gland. I get that. I get a head MRI once a year, and I get a whole body scan every other year. But I'm just saying, did it change because you became aware it changed and you looked at it? That's my question. Like, are we creating part of this? That's the question. I mean, I think it's a good experiment. And I'm not like saying it is one way or it's the other way. I'm just saying, could we like create it? Like, are we creating like to that? I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, are we creating this? See, like Patrick doesn't have this. And see, I've seen videos of people saying, look at my hand, it's changed. And like this bone is much lower. It's like connecting here. Yeah, it's like a manifesting thing. So, like, how people like they're trying to change their eyes, like they're working on it. Do you want to change your eyes? I mean, is it good to? Just because you can't? I mean, it's like a fat lady in a white dress. Just because it fits doesn't mean you should wear it. You know what I mean? I'm just, I'm just trying to like figure this out. are we creating these changes? I mean, does one person get an idea, and if enough people think it, like it changes for everyone? Because I said, after I sat there in that doctor's office, I've been thinking about this a lot. I just haven't said anything about it because I knew people would be like, whatever. I'm just saying. I mean, mine's still pretty high up here. It's not really connecting lower. I mean, it really isn't. I don't know. But I mean, so I just thought I'd ask because it just seems to me like there are people that are more well versed in this than I am. Scott Bayless, like, I'm a little stoned. I shouldn't think right now. I know. And see, that's another thing. I mean, this has got me thinking like, yeah, I keep thinking a lot about Robert Wood saying, oh, when Patrick was telling that story, he was like, pay attention. This is the oldest form of magic in the world. I mean, is that why they program us? Are people even more powerful than they think they are? I mean, do they sit there and like, fill us full of chemicals and bad food and, all this imagery to set up a control system, and we're like helping them by watching television? And that's another thing. I stopped watching television years and years ago. Does that make a difference? I'm just really wondering. I'm like, this is like blowing my mind. Okay, let's see. I mean, do you think like some changes occur because people continue to watch television? I mean, do you think some people change and some people don't? I mean, just like, I could see the change in the JFK thing before my friend. I mean, do you think it works like that? And Patrick's like, I think it's just happening. Poppy Elm says, are we the change or are we observing the changes, or both? I mean, it might be both. And then Rabbit says, I'm not 100% sure, but if it were possible to manifest body changes, I could do for some scar removal. Yeah, me too, especially stretch marks. Let's see. And see, Dark Wolf says, I've been toying with that idea for about a year myself. Maybe majority rules. Maybe majority controls reality. And that's what I'm trying to ask. So strange. Now, see, I was taught neurolinguistic programming in high school. Like the story time. I went to a therapeutic high school. And it was run by a woman that was a therapist. And so horrible. I hate having to tell people this, but she taught us neurolinguistic programming. Like I was reading like Whitley Strieber books, and I mean, she believed in like, she used to teach us about like conspiracies like they were facts. Poppy said, you stopped the programming. Maybe we can, I mean, shit. See, Lynn's lives in the country and lives more of a holistic lifestyle. I wonder what her body looks like. Just like Poppy, Poppy's into health and all that stuff. Maybe her body looks different. I mean, we maybe own like these things we see online, like I don't know, like people's bones and stuff. I don't know. Well, I mean, Lynn's, I tried to commit suicide when I was 7. because I couldn't take what was being done to me. Like I was never sexually abused, but I was abused. And then my parents, I don't know. It's a long bad story, but then, I tried to commit suicide like when I was 14, and I woke up in a hospital. I didn't die, but I woke up in a hospital. They pumped my stomach and saved my life. But so yeah, after that I went to a therapeutic high school, and I don't know. Yeah, I always felt like I didn't belong here. Oh yeah. Well, what we go through makes us who we are, right? I mean, I think most people that see like changes and whatever um have been through some form of like abuse or torture or both. I mean, I was tortured straight up. So, yeah, I had people in my life trying to you know, see if I was going to be psychic and things like that or be a healer, you know? I mean, and it doesn't matter if like those beliefs of like ancient mystery religions are true. The important thing is people think they're true. The people who practice them, and they still do like fucked up shit to their kids. I knew girls you know, who were in the same social standing I was almost. Like in this, we ran in the same. We were all debutantes at the same time and that kind of thing. But some of those girls were sexually abused. I mean, bad. Promised to older men, passed around, and I was like so thankful that wasn't me. I mean, I felt lucky to be you know, in the social standing I was. So I can't see the chat right now. I'm in here making tea. But I'm just saying, I mean, maybe I should go get copies of my medical stuff. I mean, I think anybody that has it, like if they're not embarrassed, maybe we should post them all and see what they look like. I mean, that's real research there. Sorry, I'm filling up my Keurig and it's heating up. I'm about to make coconut tea. If you've never had it, it's really, really good. See, and I think it's good that sat there and put myself on video like that with my hand, because I was sitting there tracing the bone. What if I look into it and then my hand changes? At least I have myself tracing my hand. I mean, maybe I'll be tracing air. Do you see what I mean? That's what I think, could very well happen. And that's another thing, about the whole eyeball thing. I mean, people can do what they want to do. If you want to try to make your eyeball a hexagon, like the reason I haven't tried that is because a hexagon that rotates is a circle. And your eye is a circle. I mean, are you sitting there practicing to get your eye muscle to really relax? I don't know. And also, another thing that bothers me about it is I know that a hexagon is not like the best symbol. I mean, I've seen that symbolism over and over again. You know, people using that shape, people that, you know, weren't kind to me when I was a kid. So, I mean, is that a good thing? I don't know. I mean, because really, we don't know who's orchestrating the changes. I mean, could some of it be coming from social programming? I don't know. It's just, I mean, those questions are what bother me. Let's see. I'm almost going to be able to get back to the chat. Gotta have my coconut tea with some coconut pollen in it. It's got lots of minerals in it. It's good for you. And I'll allow myself something like a cup of something sweet like this. Like I usually either use like wild local honey to help with my allergies, or I'll do this coconut pollen. It's really good. It's like called coconut palm sugar, but if you've never had it, it tastes like brown sugar. It's delicious. Pairs well with my coconut tea. Oh, and that's another Mandela effect for me. If anybody's ever used coconut tea, CA Cafe makes it. And I mean, I used to walk around, like if I find a funny phrase, like I'll say it to death. And when I first started drinking it, on the bottle, it said coconut tea makes you strong. And I would walk around and be like, coconut tea makes me strong. Or like, I need my coconut tea, it makes me strong. You know, just joking around. But I looked at it like about a week ago, and now it says coconut tea keeps you strong. So there you go on that one. So if anybody out there in the world has ever drank coconut tea and you've seen that change too, drop me a message. Just saying. All right. And see, it may not have changed for that person, and now I just fucked it up for them. Because I remember the first time I ever talked to MA, he was telling me like his parents had changed and they were strangers and things like that. And so then I went and visited my parents. And I, you know, I asked him some questions and I was like, I don't even know these fucking people. So then I sent him a private video and I'm like, dude, do you think they changed because you told me that they might? And he was like, all he would tell me was, you're not ready to know the truth. And he just wouldn't. That was it. You know, which I'm sure he has his reasons, but at the time I was pretty pissed off about it. And I'm thinking, dude, I'm sitting here distressed because my parents are strangers. You've gone through the same thing. You won't even talk to me about it. Whatever, bro. Okay, I'm back at the chat. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Let's see. See, this is Scott Balo saying, I think memories are implanted. Never have memories. I never have memories more than a few second clips. And, you know, I was something this morning came up. I think I was in Corey Jade's chat, or I was in Rain. I was in Rain on the Plains. I was in her chat. And somebody was, some person I didn't know was posting something. And he was like, you know, all I know is that I do exist and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but you can't prove you exist. And the only reason I said that is because if you take a philosophy class in college, when you take Philosophy 101, it always opens up with the professor saying, okay, class, for our first day, we're going to do an exercise. Prove you exist. And so everybody tries to argue, well, I can taste my cereal I ate this morning. He said, you could have been created just at this moment with the memory of cereal in your mouth. So like, that's the point. And then at the second half of the class, he's like, now prove you don't exist. That's the thing. You can't prove it either way. So, but it was I was kind of like joking with that guy, but he didn't get it. You know, I guess you would have had to, you know, not everybody takes that as an elective. I took lots of philosophy classes. I really liked them. I used up a lot of my electives with them, actually. I think I probably took like 4. And I got to the point where they were asking me, do you want a minor in philosophy? I'm like, no, I just like the classes. So let's see. Lynn says, I don't remember much of my childhood. And when I asked my parents to get mad or they turned it on me somehow. I was so awful. They couldn't control me. I was feisty. Yeah. That's the lie they tell themselves, because it's hard to admit that you fucked up as a parent. I mean, I know it's real hard for me to sit there and like be open with people about what I've done to my kids. When I, went off to prison. I mean, that fucked them up during that time. They were. I mean, no kid wants to live without their parent. I mean, they didn't deserve that. Let's see. Rabbit says, I think it's possible that we all may be a part of God's consciousness. And yes, collectively, if that's true, we can change things, but I do not believe it's any one of us individually. Yeah, but like, what about the 100 monkeys theory? Like, if you teach enough people something, do they all see it? Like, you know what I mean? Just like the social programming. Like, you can literally walk through a mall or something like that and hear the same conversation going on your whole way through, just as you pass people. And I see it at work. People come in, they're talking to their friends, they're doing this and that, and they're all talking about the same things. And I'm always feel like an outsider because I don't watch the news or I don't watch television. So, and break down the word television. It's a vision. So, okay, Linz V says, it's an increase of adrenaline to dilate your eye, a form of natural pain relief. Hex in a hexagon eye. I don't see a hex in my eye. Yeah, and see, like, I'm afraid to, and it's not, I mean, I think if people want to make their pupils and do those exercises to make your pupil into a hexagon, I mean, that's your body, it's your choice. But that kind of freaks me out just because, I've seen that symbolism like in dark situations, like just in my own personal life, and just, that's one of those things. That's one of those shapes that I'm just not sure is that good. And also, they say that people who believe in like the sun simulation theory, like that, there's a sun simulator and it's hiding the sun because there's something wrong out there, or the sun's dying. Like, I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever watched those videos, but I mean, I've watched those. And, there's a patent by like Bausch and Lomb, and they own a patent for like a sun simulator, and it's got like a hexagon in the center of it. And the thing spins, and when it does, it looks like a circle. So, like, and I'm thinking, Jesus, do I want my eyeball to look like the center of the supposed sun simulator? I mean, because I've looked it up online. I mean, that patent does exist. Whether the machine exists, I don't know. I mean, I've never seen it in person. I mean, I've seen people make videos about it, but I don't know if it's experimental, if it's something they use, if it's real, if it's something they have just in case. I don't know what it's for. Let's see. Scott Bailu says, is it possible the 100th monkey theory works because they're also part of the construct, and we're not part of the same construct anymore, but we have separate 100 monkey thing? Yeah. I don't know. That only works on us. I mean, I don't know. That's my question. Yeah. Okay. That's another thing, Linz. There's a hexagon on top of Saturn. And I mean, Saturn is supposed to be Satan. Like, all the planets, like, if you read like some of the texts that are not in the Bible, I can't remember which one it was. I mean, I could look it up, but there's one of them in particular that speaks about all the luminaries, which are all the stars and planets. But they say that they have consciousness, and I mean, that's what the ancient text says. It says that these, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not, people do believe this. I mean, and it could be true, but I don't know. But at any rate, they say that, like this luminary, this is its name, and it's in charge of these principalities. And like Saturn's, supposed to be a representation of Satan, and it's got a hexagon on top of it. I mean, I worked so long not to be able to see like dark spirits and demons like around me. Things like that can't interact with me in the state I'm in right now. So, do I really want to put my eyeball in a state to where, I mean, what if that like triggers me seeing things like that again? I don't know. I mean, I know that sounds fucking insane. If somebody doesn't even know about this stuff and they start listening to the stream, they're going to think I'm a total nutcase, which, could be true. Let's see. Patrick Roberts, I don't do anything. I don't practice. I get on my stream and show my eyes. Well, no, but like I was watching you last night, Patrick, and they were saying, do your eyes from side to side and, look this way and look that way. And a lot of people, like, they sit there and practice it, like, keep trying. It's almost like it's a learned skill. And even MA said we have to develop our eyes. But why is that? I just want to know the reason. Because I'm one of those people, like, I don't want to do something unless I know the reason behind it. Like, I don't just blindly do what, but, he's been talking about the eyes, like, we have these new eyes, guys, and we have to learn how to use and develop them, but for what? That's what I want to know. For what? And then Poppy says, I don't think it evil. I mean, it might not be evil, but just in my experience, like that particular symbol is used by, by people who believe in things that I don't want to be associated with. And see, Poppy says, sorry, y'all. I'm not asking God to change my eyes. No, I mean, and I'm not saying you are. And Poppy says, evil exists. I've seen some scary shit. I don't think these changes are evil. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they are because I think, I think they're like meant to like poke at you and wake you up. But just like reality, I mean, have you ever been, you feel like you could, let's say, you're out of work and you pray to God and you're like, man, God, please help me out and guide my path, like lead me to where I'm supposed to go. And then you get a job. Okay. Well, then you get that job and then your boss, like just all of a sudden starts like turning on you and turning into an evil asshole because he's being like, let's say, oppressed by demons. Well, that's not God doing that to you. I mean, he got you the job, but, the boss has free will to, be a dick or not. I'm just saying. I mean, even when good things happen, like sometimes evil influences can come in. If God's creating the Mandela effect, like if these changes are coming from a good place, what makes you think the devil's not going to try to ruin that? Or that evil forces are not going to come in and try to influence it? And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I mean, I'm just randomly bouncing ideas here. And see, Poppy said, I hate seeing shit. I spend a ton of energy. Me too. I don't like that. I mean, I can remember being a little kid and seeing like dark shadow people in my room. I was just scared. And, from what I understood, like, when I was in school, I mean, I was taught that, like to meditate and, to raise your vibration and all that stuff. So, to control my dreams. Like I went to this one person when I was a teenager that would teach me, I used to have nightmares and they would teach me to start to control the nightmare so that it's not scary. So Lynn says, I think we can heal our eyesight. You can actually train your eye muscles to see better. Yeah. And I mean, I've seen all these exercises with like dyslexic people who see mirror images and things like upside down. Like when they have that form of like visual dyslexia, I've seen like there's a series of like eye exercises that you can do that can correct that to a degree. Yeah, and see, Rascally Rabbit says, totally agree. The closer you get to good, the more evil hates it, and vice versa. Yeah, when I start to have like down times, my boss is a jerk, or I'm not selling, or just things start to go wrong. I'm like, you know what? I start patting myself on the back, like I'm doing something good because something else is trying to fuck it up. Lindsay said, I didn't get into any of my counseling till I was 30. You see, Poppy says it was stronger when I was little. Yeah, because I mean, you're innocent, you don't know. Balance is key. Yeah, balance is the key. Yeah, because I mean, y'all heard me say I'm pretty impulsive. I think it's real important to like balance your life and your way of thinking. Oh Lord, my dogs are barking. My husband and kids and I used to sit down and say rosary together, like as a family, like when the kids were younger. And I remember we had gotten into this really good run of it, and nothing had interrupted us, and we were starting to really be in sync and everything. And we don't do that now because one of our daughters changed, her beliefs have changed drastically. So, we don't want to like make her do something she doesn't want to do. But I remember we got into this good run and everything was like really syncing up, and, we were really feeling the Holy Spirit and everything. And the neighbor next door is this guy who's kind of like a kind of a kooky, like shut in, and he gets like a crazy check. He goes into his side yard and starts reciting like the Magna Carta, where it's like 407 years ago, and of course it like breaks the flow of the prayer. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I don't know. What's a 0 degree Sagittarius? What does that mean? Like, I understand what Sagittarius, but what's 0 degree mean? I'm a Capricorn on the cusp. I was born on December 22nd, which is like the winter solstice. My family's belief system, like things like that, are important. I never got far enough into it to be taught those things. I have almost a 30-degree Scorpio moon, the beginning of the sign, the cusp, or the first day of the sign. Hey, I do too. I'm the Capricorn on the first. And Scott Balo is a corn on the cob because he's adorable. I wonder how many people that are affected are born on the cusp or are a 0 degree. That's something to look into. I don't know. Let's see. Ooh, scarring's going away. That's awesome. What kind of hey Poppy, what do you use for your skin? Like what kind of lotion? I saw you drinking your matcha green tea on your live stream the other day. Girl knows all about antioxidants. Mm. Cafe astrology. I don't know. Wascally Rabbit says he's a Leo. Until the ME, and now I'm a crab. I'm not going to accept it. I'm still a Leo. You're a meat popsicle. November 24th. Collagen something. Yeah, I take like oral collagen every day. I take like marine collagen. It's made from it's like derived from seaweed because I don't want to take like the animal collagen. That's part of the reason why we're similar. I mean, maybe. Oh, damn, you had tumors in your esophagus? Jesus. That's terrible. Mm. How does that happen? I have a cousin who used to have tumors like on his palate, like at the top of his mouth. And they hurt him so bad. Mm. Puppy says, not anymore. It's okay, Scott. Not anymore. She doesn't have them. Yeah, but she was seeing her scars. I thought she was like talking about skincare. Girl. Mm. Patrick, are you still out there somewhere? Stop talking. Wait, let me see. I hope he didn't leave me. He's my boo bear. I hope you're still out there, Patrick. Oh, thank God. Don't leave me. Did you think I had too much makeup on for work, Patrick? Oh, little baby. My little puppy. Sorry, I'm scratching Abby's head. I don't really like makeup, but if I don't wear it, like I'm so fair, people are like, "Do you feel okay?" Poppy says she goes back again in 6 months if all looks good. Then after that 1 year, no idea what caused them. Damn. They have no idea why the scarring went away. That's interesting. See, and you hear all kinds of stories, like in regards to like diseases and cancer and things. There are some people that just get rid of their cancer through like a positive attitude. You know, I mean, that's an example of manifesting something. I mean, I wonder if we got together, if we could do things like, let's say, if we all decided that, you know, chemtrail planes weren't real and that they, were not allowed to spray us, if that legislation would come up and it would stop. Like, I'm wondering how deep this goes. Like, what could you really do with this? Like, if you're able to, change yourself or your environment, or you're able to, see things or not see things, like if we all get together and agree on something, I wonder if you can make it happen. Yeah, see, Scott says, I think you can will it away. Maybe. I wonder if that baking soda for cancer thing works. Somebody said vitamin C injections. See, and Scott, I did that. I had uterine cancer, and I let them take my uterus and ovaries all the way out, so I don't have anything like that, and which is nice. I did that back in '08, and they wanted me to take chemotherapy and everything as a like preventative measure, just in case anything had spread in my body, or just to make sure it was all gone. and I got vitamin C injections from a doctor who was an herbalist. So like I would go in once a week and get like sit in the office. They would give me like vitamin B injections, and you can go in anytime for those. But I would sit there and receive like injections from my doctor, like mega doses of vitamin C. And I mean, I haven't had cancer. I mean, I get the screening, so I mean, I've been cancer free for like I guess it's been 10 years now. Oh, poor kitty cat. That's terrible. Lens is like, I hate being annoyed with Kim's last couple days. Nice blue sky has been covered up with streaks. My favorite is when I'm like, man, the sky looks gorgeous. Like we'll be outside doing something, like fixing on something or just hanging out outside. And then all of a sudden I'll look up and there's a big X, like right in the sky, like right where they cross each other. It just makes me so mad because, like, I would think if they're spraying chemicals in the skies, like, you would think like everybody would have to agree to something like that. That would be the fair thing to do. Of course, we all know it doesn't work that way, but Poppy says she decided she was not going to be sick anymore. Now my scars are gone. See, she made that happen. What if I decided I didn't want a new body and I wanted my body to look the old way? It's just like somebody was saying the heart was in the middle, but I mean, I know it's off to the side a bit. Like I've seen that on myself, and I was sitting there like looking it up, in between Patrick's chat and this. And I mean, there are body scans that show it both ways. I mean, look it up online. Like if you look at full MRI scans of the body, there's some of them that show the heart a little bit to the side. Some of them are in the center. I thought I heard somebody say that it shifted back to the side a bit, but I don't know. That could have been in my mind. Poppy's getting a brownie. Oh, I'll pray for your kitty cat. That's terrible. Do you know why the cat's lung is filling up with fluid? I wonder if she's allergic to something or if she's sick. Does she have the feline like pneumonia? Scott says there shouldn't be both. That's a sign of something, really. See, because somebody was talking about like a Bible change, and you know, I don't know. I mean, for a while I could see it, like I could see it in some translations and not others, and then it just went away. So, I mean, sometimes you'll see that, or like if a word's changing, or just certain things. We've all seen that. Where like if you catch it right when a lot of people start realizing it, you can catch some residue of it the old way, and then you won't be able to find it. Not sure, but it came out of nowhere. I wonder if she's got like feline. Don't they all get like? Don't some cats get like that feline leukemia, and it's like contagious? Rascally Rabbit wants a brownie too. Says Scott, have you checked out the videos from Spirit Science? Hmm. Hey, have y'all ever seen the future map of the world? Like after all the sea levels rise, and my sister likes to point that out, and she's like, Louisiana's like gone. And I told my sister, I was like, have you looked at Cyprus? Because the island's not even there anymore. Her name is Sweets. Oh, poor kitty. She doesn't have the feline leukemia. I had my sister-in-law took in a stray cat one time, and that cat had some kind of disease like that, and gave it to all her cats, and all her cats died. And like one of the cats she had had for like 10 years or something. She was devastated. Yeah, the Navy map. See, Lynn's has seen it. See, and that's why I made sure the part of Mississippi I'm getting my land on is, going to be dry during that, you know, just in case. I know, isn't that terrible? She was devastated. I had a friend one time who called me up, was like, I'm losing my apartment in Houston, Texas. Like, can you come and get me? Because she wanted to come back to New Orleans. And so, man, I drove up there. I got her, and we were driving down the road. And she had this cat that she had had since childhood. And it was like his name was Hercules, and he was like a big, fat, orange cat. And so we're driving down the road, and that cat, her window was open, like in the back, and the cat just jumped out the window. And we went back and tried to find, and we could not find him. We don't know if he ran off. We don't know if, horrible. I don't know why I'm thinking of morbid stuff like that. See, and that's the thing. I mean, that's why I haven't mentioned like anything about the body, because, first of all, I was worried people would be like, the hell is that about? And then second of all, I don't know, it's hard to admit that, you know, maybe some of the stuff is like we're being used to program some of this stuff, like to make changes occur. And that's a scary thought for me. I don't like thinking about that. Lynn says I sound cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when I talk about the body and the mountains. Yeah, it's a thing. Oh, Lynn, have you ever seen that thing, those videos that they're putting out where they're saying like all the rocks are like really like mummified animals and giants? And yeah, see, that's the thing, Scott. I think we're going to do some good. I'm excited. I think we can make this realm turn around. You know, because really, I mean, more and more people are, realizing that something's not quite right every day. What you going to eat, Patrick? If you live closer, I'll bring you some food. One says not anything on the rocks, but have you seen the ones where there are no forests? Oh yeah. And dude, when you look at that, like some of those mountains and stuff, I think to myself, God, because here in Mississippi we have something called the petrified forest, and you can go there, and but it's like all these old trees that have turned to rock. So I've seen that on a small scale, and I'm like, dude, it looks like the petrified forest. Rascally Rabbit says, I hope they figure out the Fukushima stuff before the oceans rise, because it's gonna take thousands of years for the effects will wear off, supposedly. Yeah. But that's the thing. Will it really, or are they trying to get us to make it like that? Lindsay says, my hubby watches stuff on giants. Yeah, see, my husband likes to watch stuff about giants. He likes to watch like Richie from Boston. He watches him every day, several times a day. He likes what else is that? There's this one guy. I don't know. There's a few of them, like they're kind of like Richie from Boston, where they talk about like you know, things that are happening. And he likes watching stuff about that. Oh, you had a petrified forest when you went to Oregon or South Washington as a kid? Yeah, I mean, it's kinda neat, like, so when you see, like, those mountains, like, the videos about it, you're like, "Wow, I wonder if that's true." Poppy says you think they're earth elements or earth spirits. Maybe. Some think that Fukushima was the end of it. Could have been. I'd be a sad lady if I watched that guy. So, yeah, Richie from Boston. Like, sometimes it's okay, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, Paul Watson. Yeah. We used to watch a lot of, what was that guy's name? Alex Jones. We used to watch, man, like a few years ago, we used to listen to Alex Jones a lot. Like when he like exposed Bohemian Grove or whatever back in the, I guess it was the early 2000s. We were like, man, we thought he was like the best thing. And being in the South, like you could catch like syndications of his broadcasts. So let's see. Fukushima's been blowing up for a long time. Yeah. Scott Balo, it's all fake unless it becomes manifested through fear or belief, but that still means it can be willed away. Yeah. And see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like, I try to just be happy, and I try to, get out into nature every day, try to stick my feet on the ground every day. Well, actually, I do stick my feet on the ground, but, I just, especially after being, locked up, I mean, I really appreciate um, just being able to like walk outside whenever I want to, or just being able to like look up at the sky. Because I mean, I went through a period of like 4 months where I never saw the sky, not one time. Like when I was waiting to be transported, like I was in this place where they wouldn't let us. We were able to kind of go outside in this courtyard thing, but like you couldn't see the sky from there. You could get kind of fresh air, but it was like four, like it was like a rectangle. It was like four brick walls, and it had a covering over it so that you couldn't see. Like you could kind of feel the air and stuff, but you couldn't see the sun. And then all the windows had been painted. There was like windows and these long skinny windows, but they had all been painted over. So so I really appreciate like being out in nature. I appreciate fruit. I make sure I eat fruit every day because I went for like, I want to say like nearly a year before I had a piece of fruit. I miss that so much. Ooh. Once I got to a work facility, if you had a college degree, they would send you to this work facility where you ran a town. It's the town of Columbia in Mississippi. And if you go there, there's a like a work facility, and you will see like early in the morning, you will see like female inmates like in green and white stripes, like walking through the town to go to work. And I would walk, I would walk right out the front door, like at a designated time, and walk to my first job was at the sheriff's department. And I would walk to the sheriff's department, and I would like clean up, and then like in the afternoons, I would like answer the phone and do filing and things like that. And then I got a job. They switched me over to like the Board of Education. And when I was there, like I did a lot of computer work there. Plus, I, just like data entry and filing, and I cleaned and things like that. But I mean, they would let you walk to work unattended. So let's see. Lynn says, I don't know for sure, but everything else is a lie. And I watched how they handled Hanford, Washington when they had a leak. Hmm. Poppy says Nobleness Steve put out a video on why some of the land moved to protect it from radiation. That's interesting. Seems like there's lies everywhere. Yeah, there are. If you ever want to know if like a world event is a lie, just look at the news footage and put the license plate numbers into a numerology calculator. If any of them equal 33, you know it's bullshit. Says do. Scott says, do you do that grounding for a while or just a few minutes? I do it for 15 minutes at least. It usually runs to about 20 minutes. But yeah, I do it at least 15 minutes every day. I do it in my front yard and it embarrasses my kids. But I don't really care. I don't care what other people think. Lynn says, I've seen landscape changes in Japan, Alaska, Canadian coast, Washington coast. See, I don't know a lot about geography. I mean, I kind of know where things are, but I mean, there are some things where I'm like, I didn't think that was there. Like the big one for me is like New Zealand. Like I thought New Zealand was at like the top right. And just to see it up under Australia, that really fucked with me. Let's see. You see, Lynn says you can walk barefoot on the grass for a few minutes and it'll charge you up. Yeah. I know that, I notice things locally um, getting smaller. Lynn says that would be a long time to with no fruit. Yeah, it was, man. Let's see. Yeah, Dark Wolf. I started watching your stream last night, and I fell asleep sitting up in my chair. I get up at like 6 a.m. every morning, and I went back and watched like some more of it at lunchtime. I guess Lindsay could have happened, and you know, and then didn't. Yeah, see, and I always see people. I'll see people, and they'll start to predict things, and they'll say, oh, it's gearing up for this and gearing up for that. And when people start saying that, I usually kind of switch off, and I'm like, like I don't want to contribute, so I'm just not going to watch that. See, Poppy Elm gets premonitions about earthquakes. I'm glad I don't. That would scare me. I guess if I had a talent, I'm a people reader. I'm one of those people. Like I can size people up in a few minutes. Some people I can't, and that those people I kind of scare me. But yeah, I can usually like communicate with most anyone, or people like automatically trust me, and that's why I'm in sales. I don't abuse that. I don't lie to people, but you know, Rascally Rabbit says my wife said my daughter came in and pushed my cell phone because it was still playing YouTube feed, and I was crashed out. Oh, it paused it. Lynn says she's fine with earthquakes. I was in the one in the Kingdom in 1994 in Seattle. Damn. Poppy says sometimes other natural disasters, I guess, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, I mean, I don't know. Oh, you're in the LA quake? Oof. I mean, at least like, if you were in a place where, like in California or something, you might be able to sense something coming and, get your family to safety. I would that would be nice to be able to have premonitions of things. Dark Wolf said he stayed up all night watching my stream. Yeah, LA is a bit scarier. I've never been to California. Yeah, pretty much just been in the South. I think I've gone into Mexico and then I've been to Texas and like Arizona, New Mexico. Um and then I've traveled to like Tennessee and Florida, Georgia, Alabama. And then I've traveled out of the country a couple times, but I've never um I've never been like to California or like up to like the original 13 colonies. Like I've never been in New York or any of that. I'm a Southern girl. I don't know. That's strange. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna get my last scan because I'd like to see it. You know, I just want to see. I would like to get it and then maybe make a video of myself tracing the outlines of things. Like Brian McFarlane does, and then I'm gonna sit there and like look into all the body changes, and then I want to look back at it and see if it changes. And then my proof will be that video because he'll do that. He'll sit there and trace like words, like logos. And then later, if he notices a change, he'll go back to his old videos and it shows that he's not really tracing it anymore. So it'll prove that something happened. Poppy says, I keep having dreams about flooding. Indiana's maybe under 2 feet of water in my area. Everyone trying to go northeast. Oh, you got married in Jamaica? That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I've been on like cruises and I've been to like the islands and things. Yeah, I've been to like Costa Rica, Cozumel, like places like that. And I had a buddy whose mom was from Jamaica, and we used to go and stay at their house sometimes because those flights are cheap. Like because I lived in New Orleans at the time. From New Orleans to Jamaica is very cheap. But yeah, Poppy, we've had me and my husband, and then my niece has had this dream. She lives in England, and then one of my daughters have dreams that they get rounded up at school, and then my husband and I have both had dreams, and my niece that of tidal waves. I'll never forget the first one I had. I mean, I was kind of aware that I was asleep, and I saw this tidal wave coming, and it was like full of screaming people. That was so scary. And then the last one, there was a tidal wave coming, and my husband and I look at each other and we just hold hands and we just stand there. I mean, what can you do? Lynn says it sounds more glamorous than it was. Our wedding was in included in our vacation. We broke out but wanted to get married. Oh, that was sweet. Tidal waves and elevators. You have dreams about tidal waves and elevators? Elevators go to hell and stairways go to heaven, right? Rascally Rabbit says, Martha Jane just had to ask, but were you having any more of the psychedelic effects while you're streaming? Well, yeah, it seems okay right now. Um, I haven't changed anything. I haven't been doing anything different. I'm not sure what that was about. And, but I'll tell you, like at work, I've been able to, we had like one issue today with the computer when I was on it, but I was able to post things to Facebook for work and upload some pictures for them. So things are working again. I was having problems with electronics interference. Like my live streams were the video camera was messed up. Well, I mean, it didn't matter what I was using my device, and then I tried using my daughter's, and it would show like that weird psychedelic stuff. And I was having issues with the computers at work wouldn't. I mean, at work wouldn't work when I tried to use them. So Lynn says she thinks it was just the camera. I mean, it was on more than one device though, because I streamed from my phone, and then I also tried streaming from my daughter's phone, and she uses her phone to stream, not to stream on YouTube, but to Skype and things like that. She hasn't had an issue with it. Yeah, and earlier that was just on my computer. Oh, okay. Scott had a dream. I want to know. I forgot to talk about my dream about a tree coming to life and taking a chainsaw to a man's arm. Good gravy. That sounds scary. I don't know. My dreams don't seem to be about anything in particular lately. I had this one dream that I went to someone's house to design their kitchen, and it just had like every single room was like on a different level. Like you had to step up three to get into one room and step down a few to get into another. It was just like this weird, like multi level house, and it had like small stairways everywhere. It'd be like 5 steps down, 3 steps up. That was kind of bizarre. I remember I had this one therapist that I went to, and she told me that everything in your dream is you. If you sit down and like think about it, like analyze it, anything that you notice that you can recall, you have to think of it in terms as being you, even like inanimate objects. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Rabbit said that's good. I was just wondering. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about, but you know, odd. Poppy says she's working on figuring out who the people are still that I'm keep dreaming about. Do you have recurring dreams about the same people? That is a disturbing dream, Scott Balow. That's really scary. Yeah, Lynn said she had to take a break. Yeah, like sometimes you know, like I like to go, like go to our property in like in Poplarville, Mississippi and chill or, just cocoon myself in my house and crochet or like do something that's like I feel is real, you know. 'Cause sometimes you just get I mean, it gets overwhelming. It's like a huge burden. And then you have to go out every day and face these people who just, like, don't see it coming, and they don't realize anything's different, you know? And I mean, they all sound alike, and it just really freaks me out. I think it's insane just to accept what is told to you. Like, when somebody tells me to do something or, you know, instructions are given to me, I have to know why. I mean, I wanna know, like, all angles of it. I bet a lot of us are like that, just, like, really, inquisitive and, question authority. Because I know I do. I mean, it's just like when you go to the doctor and they sit there and tell you nothing's wrong, and when you know there's something wrong. Like when I had my oldest daughter, she was about, I'm gonna say she was in 2nd grade, and she was sick, and I brought her to the doctor, and they gave her some antibiotics, you know, and she seemed to get better for a little while, but then, like, a week right after the antibiotics were done, like, a week later, she was sick again. So I take her back to the doctor. They give her another round of antibiotics, and, she was okay. And then after she took the antibiotics, like, once they were done, after a few days, I mean, she started to run a fever again. I mean, she just didn't look right. And I took her back again, and I was like, I was telling the pediatrician, "Something's wrong with her," I mean? And he's like, "Look," he said, "I think what's wrong with her is you." He said, "We can't just keep giving her rounds of antibiotics," and he really lectured me on being like, on worrying too much. And so, I was kind of mad about it. And, he's like, sometimes these are just viruses and, it has to run its course. He's telling me. But at this point, I mean, she had missed quite a bit of school. And I mean, she was sick for like a couple of months, you know? And I remember the next day I was getting her ready for school and I started to notice like she looked like she was losing weight. Like she just didn't look right. And she was running like this low grade fever and she had dark circles under her eyes. And I looked at my husband. I was like, you know what? I'm taking her to the hospital. And I just took her to the hospital, and it turned out she had a massive pneumonia in her lung, you know? So because I'm the kind of person who won't just accept what's asked of me, I mean, it saved her life. She was in the hospital for 4 days. They admitted her. I mean, she was a little tiny, and she was a tiny little kid. She had been a premature baby, and so she was a really tiny kid. And I made sure to take her to a hospital that I knew that pediatrician did rounds at so that he had to face me. And he came in and I was like, "Do you see how sick she is?" I was like, "All you had to do was order a chest x-ray and you would have seen the massive pneumonia in her lungs." And I was like, "I want you to think about me the next time you tell a parent that they're being like, paranoid or, you know?" But I think a lot of us are like that. And that's part of the reason we're similar. And we're not going to just accept what somebody tells us, like the school system or what have you. So, yeah, it's horrible when your little baby's sick. Hey, Corey Jade, ignorance is bliss. Maybe. I know. Could you imagine, Poppy? I mean, because you know how doctors are. I mean, I heard you say on your live stream the other day that your son had autism. I think that's what you said. I had a daughter, and my youngest daughter, she started having issues like when she was about 3 years old. She just didn't seem to be communicating, and she seemed kind of to backslide a little bit, and we were convinced, of course, it was, like, immunizations, and we had started to see, like, issues, like, around 18 months, but, like, she was about 3 years old. My dad, was spending time with us one day, and he looked at me, and he was like, "Something's wrong with that kid. You need to, like, go get her tested." So I went to, like, the local, like, children's hospital, like, we have, like, a teaching hospital in Jackson. So I took her there, and I had every test run on her, like her hearing, this, that, the other, and, they came back and said, "We think she has persuasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified." I said, "So, that's a fancy way of telling me that you don't know what's going on with her." And they were like, "Well, basically." And so we sent her to, but she was doing things like she didn't wonder about anything. Like, she never asked me, "Why is the sky blue?" And, just little things. She didn't get concepts like above and below and stuff like that. So we knew there was something going on with her. And so we took her to this place where they do like cognitive therapy for really small kids. Some of them have neurological disorders or what have you. So we took her there for probably about 8 months. And then they wanted to reevaluate her. And they reevaluated her and they were like, well, then they took the diagnosis back and said, "No, I don't think she has persuasive developmental disorder." And then, when she was can't remember what grade she was in, like, maybe 3rd grade or so, we witnessed her have a seizure in her sleep, and it turned out she had been having seizures in her sleep since she was about 3 years old, and we didn't know because we never saw it. We would put them to bed, and we just thought everything was okay. Well, we didn't. She had, like, Rolandic epilepsy. And so when I took her to the neurologist, they confirmed, that she had, like, benign childhood epilepsy, or they call it, like, Rolandic epilepsy when you have seizures in your sleep. And, when I saw the neurologist for the first time, I told her about the testing that we went through, and when I was telling her about it, she's like, "Let me guess, they diagnosed your child with persuasive developmental disorder." And I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "It was the epilepsy." She said, "Because kids with epilepsy will, exhibit some of the same characteristics as, like a kid on the spectrum." But she asked me stuff like, "Does she get jokes?" And, "Yes, yes, she does." And she was like, "Yeah, that's all it is." But she grew out of it, thankfully. So it's like, but I mean, I knew there was something going on. It's just like with this shit, we know something's going on. Maybe can't quite put your finger on it exactly, but, at least we're not, giving up. We're still looking. And see, Papillon was like, "I question everything." And Corey says that the education and medical system are effed up. They really are. Okay. He does have yeah, I thought you had said that, but I wasn't 100%. I'm laughing because Wascally Rabbit's saying that YouTube won't let him change it to the 2 W's. You don't wanna be the 2 W's 'cause, if you put him on their side, that's 33. You don't want that anyway. Poppy says her son didn't get diagnosed till he was 13, but my oldest was a preemie. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I think you just have to keep fighting. Good night, Lens. Have sweet dreams. Poppy said, "I wonder if he has seizures sometimes, but nothing showed up on tests." Yeah, what they did is we went and saw this pediatric neurologist, and what they do is they make you keep your child up like all night long, and then you go to the place really early in the morning, and they hook like electrons up to your kid's head and whatever, and they let them fall asleep. and then they monitor their brain activity. But if it's there, they'll see it. I mean, because now, the last time we had a test like that done on her, they were saying that, it went away. So, I mean, she never was medicated for it or anything, so thank God. No, Scotty, I never saw stuff like that when I was growing up. I mean, there just were not kids like that, and if you look around, there's tons of kids like that right now. Tons. Tons of kids with all these problems, and, I wonder if it's, you know, could it be like aluminum in the environment? Is it immunizations? Is it, chemicals in the food? Or, sometimes I just think that, it's strange that, things like that are on the rise. Because, I mean, with our daughter, with our youngest, we were convinced that the immunizations had done something to her. It seems strange to me they had classes for special children, yeah. And see, like, I remember they had, like, some kids at my school growing up, but it was, like, very few kids, And now I mean, it's pretty commonplace, to know if something is, you know, is really happening to a lot of people. You have to ask yourself how many, like, if I ask myself, how many people do I personally know that have kids with autism? It's a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people who are going through that. But, like, when they try to, like, put a virus out there, when they say, "Oh, there's this new mosquito virus." I mean, you have to ask yourself, how many people do you know that have gotten, like, malaria, or, you know, any of those, or like the swine flu or anything like that. And just the flu too. I'll tell you this, I have never had the flu, never in my life, and I have never had the flu vaccine. So, like, I refuse to take it. And with them trying to push it on our kids at school, I mean, they're always trying to they're starting to go to the schools and immunize kids at the school for the flu every year. We just keep our kids home on that day. Poppy says he spaces off sometimes. Yeah, I mean, and see, those can be like absence seizures. Isn't that what those are called? I had a cousin who, one time I remember passing him and he was in the bathroom, like, staring into the mirror with a toothbrush hanging out of his mouth. Or we would be playing and running around, and then all of a sudden he would just stop and just stand there for a minute, and then he would keep going. Good night, rabbit. I can't win either way. Have a good night. Yeah, never get the flu shot. I'm scared, I'm just afraid to do it. WW dang gematria, I know. I can't help it. I got a husband that's into it. There's a test that you can do, to see if your child's epileptic, and it's a hyperventilation test. Have you ever tried to get him to do that? I mean, you sit there and you have the child hyperventilate, and look it up online. I can't remember what the time frame is. Because they did that with Rachel, to see if it would induce, like, a waking seizure. And my husband's like, "That's terrible. They made her do that. I bet you couldn't do it." And I did it. And then he tried to do it, and I swear he stopped in the middle of it, and he, like, had started to kind of space out. I was like, you know, I mean, I have a cousin with epilepsy. You could have it on your side too. And they tested our other daughter too. They did the study where they keep them up all night, and they were saying that she had an epileptic brain, but she just doesn't exhibit the seizures. So, I mean, stuff like maybe runs in families. I don't know. She's saying that they're saying it's part of his autism, but I'm not buying it. Yeah, always fight for your kids. I know you do. You seem like a really great mom. Yeah, I noticed, like, I've noticed people that get the flu shot seem to get the flu every year, so and that they'll just say, "Oh, I got it too late." And I'm thinking, "Buddy," or, they'll all go get the flu shot, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, well, it doesn't protect against this strain of the flu." I don't know. Corey Jade, if you're still in here, um, once the stream stops, go back and look at my hand and you tell me if it's different. You tell me if it's changed. Because I know you're really into the body changes. I'm just not. Like, I don't look into them because I'm afraid it's going to make my body change. I have like an unreasonable fear about it, or it might be reasonable. Who knows? Oh, you are a good mom. That's the thing. I think that, sometimes people who were mistreated as children, sometimes they turn around and mistreat their children. But I think some of us like turn around and like we still remember it. And so we're just like, we try to make sure that our kids get what we didn't. And that's the important thing, is try to break that cycle, isn't it? So I don't know. Look into it, Poppy. See if my hand has changed. I don't know. Look back on that video. Ask other people and see what they think. Because I don't think it has. And meanwhile, I'm going to get those. I'm going to get my body scans. I'm going to get some copies of them. And if I don't decide to post them publicly, I'll at least send them to, to like you and some other people just to see what you think. Like, I wouldn't mind sharing those privately. I don't know if I'm going to post. I don't think I can post something like that online, though. That's going to make me uncomfortable. Because really, if you've ever had one of those, I mean, like one time I cracked a rib, like on my back, and they did a scan, and I just remember like my breasts just looked like these two huge white masses. It was like very embarrassing for me, like to see that, like everybody's looking at them, and I'm just like, ugh, because you could see, I don't know, you could kind of see things. So at any rate, oh Lord, oh yeah. I don't know. I think some people, Scott said, I would never be able to abuse a child, especially if I was. But, I think that's why pedophiles do it sometimes. I think that sometimes they were abused as children. And so there's like a part of them that is looking to like regain that innocence. And so then they impose themselves upon children. And it's like a really sick, twisted way of coping with what happened to them, you know? And then it's such a shameful thing. None of them seek therapy, 'cause, so it's a horrible thing. What happened to your boobs? No, it was just like okay, I have like, I wear a size, either like a triple D or larger in a bra size. So I have a very large chest. And I always have, though. I've always had kind of a large chest, no matter what size I was. But I had cracked my rib like on my back. I told my husband, I was like, crack my back, crack my back. This was a while back. I would lay on the floor and he would like, push on my back. And he did it one time and I mean, my back just hurt so bad. I went to the doctor and they did an x-ray and they couldn't see the area because your breasts, like on an x-ray, like show up as like just these two big white masses, you know? And it was hard for them to see my ribs and I was very like embarrassed. So that was my point. Like, I don't think I could like publicly display like a body scan of mine. I mean, but I don't mind sending it privately to some people. So yeah. But still, I don't want people seeing the shape of things, like, in, people I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind it, but, it helps me sell jewelry. Sometimes, like, I've had people, try to buy me stuff. Of course, I don't accept, but big books. Yeah, I'm very chesty. But I mean, they're nothing special. I did breastfeed 2 kids, so I look like a tribeswoman, you know. Sorry, Dark Wolf. I know it's too much information. At any rate, I'm getting tired. All right, guys. I think I've been on for too long. Starting to talk about things I shouldn't probably. But I love you guys, and I'm glad y'all listened to my crazy ramblings again for another night. But I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something to it, you know? Maybe some changes occur because you observe them, you know? Just like, there's that belief that we exist because somebody's observing us. Scott Baylor said, I was so embarrassed when I had kidney stones. I had to get it. Yeah. It's just, yeah, stuff like that. Makes it really hard to behave sometimes. All right. Well, y'all have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.